Google Maps, a cold, rainy morning, a poorly lit parking garage, a sterile, fluorescent tone hospital lobby. You wake up in a bed that is not yours in a town that you do not know. A few hours later, you're assigned 2 humans who are actively dying, and it's your job to keep them alive. In those few hours, you've met about 60 new faces, new names, new colleagues, new bosses, a new charting system, and hundreds of pieces of new equipment. But in all this newness and uncertainty, those 2 separate heartbeats are your assignment. Those are your responsibility. You brought your skill, knowledge, experience, and adaptability with you. Everything else you're going to have to figure out. But for now, there are at least 2 humans and their families who are depending on you to bring your whole self to the task and hopefully help these patients get better. That's travel nursing. You leave your family, your home, everything familiar to you, and get inserted into extremely high-intensity situations with limited staffing and resources, and only your training and experience to guide you. You are asked to show up with all the clinical skill, knowledge, adaptability, emotional strength, and resilience required to keep these humans alive and clinically stable. When I left an established hospital setting in Colorado to go to New Jersey and help with the first wave COVID pandemic surge there, I believed that it would be 3 challenging months. I had no idea the situation, the trauma, the loss of life that I would see there over the next 6 months. When I stepped foot in the hospital, I was one of over 50 travelers brought in to take care of these sick patients in New Jersey. We were understaffed, which meant almost everyone was working overtime constantly. Putting in 70 to 80-hour work weeks became commonplace. I saw hundreds of patients die. It truly felt like a war zone. It takes an extreme amount of emotional, mental, and physical resilience to be an RN. In a moment, your job role can require pure adrenaline and quick thinking, only immediately to be substituted by a need for strong, clear communication, genuine empathy, and compassion. You wear many hats. Often when patients are in the ICU, it is the worst moment of their lives or their loved one's life. Showing genuine care and compassion is often the foundation for everything we do. I do not think most people realize the trauma that we see and the strength required to deal with it. It is a great measure more difficult in a situation where you have all of the unknowns surrounding you that travel RNs do. From all over the US, travelers like me came into communities, into hospitals that were overrun, in need, and answered the call for help. Hospitals are community-based institutions. Most patients have a personal connection to the hospital in their local town, in the same way that they have a connection to their local deli or dry cleaners. It is a surreal thing to be so quickly and deeply inserted into a crucial role of a community. As a travel RN, you are intersected into that personal connection and asked to protect it, to build it further. Hospitals, our ICU colleagues, and ultimately our patients and their families put their trust in us the minute we step foot on the hospital floor. It is a great and sacred responsibility that you need to make sure you are able to handle. That's not to elevate travelers as the only nurses doing frontline work. My sister is a full-time staff RN and rooted in her community hospital. There's equal courage, risk, and sacrifice in that too. Full-time RNs do an incredible job helping assimilate travelers while dealing with an immense amount of pressure and corporate bureaucracy that travel nurses often get to avoid. They become like family to the travelers. We laugh together, we grieve together, and we depend on each other when the stakes are high and human life hangs in the balance. I cannot begin to tell you all the incredible humans I have met along this journey, the sacrifices I have seen from them, and their passion and care for their patients. I am thankful for every single one of them. No amount of money or compensation is enough for the incredible work that they do. But for the travel RN, You don't often have the support system or infrastructure of someone who works in their hometown, someone surrounded by their friends and family. To deal with this job and to continue to do it well, you need a process. Part of my process is I go on a run after work most shifts, no matter where in the US I am. I have found it's the best way for me to clear my head from the noise, from the stress, from the trauma that I see every single shift at work. Even if I am physically, mentally, or emotionally depleted, I have learned that having an outlet for stress is vital. On New Year's Day, I ran past high-rises on the Platte River in downtown Denver. On Easter and 4th of July, I ran past lawn decorations outside of Newark, New Jersey. On Christmas Eve, I ran past Christmas lights in Long Beach, California. Every light in those homes represented a human, a family, a community of people. To me, it was an unrecognizable home on an unrecognizable street. But I know to my patients, to the community I was placed in, it was so much more. I was running through their memories, their hopes and dreams, their successes and failures, their lives. When I needed the strength to keep going, I would think about each light illuminated inside of each of those houses and what they represented. If I close my eyes, I can place myself back in those neighborhoods, back in those towns. Eventually, you leave them and you go on to your next travel assignment. But they never leave you.